Alright, so we're going to go over the safety of the miter saw. This is our miter saw. It's a sliding compound miter saw, which means that the blade slides out so you can cut wire boards, okay? And then it also will tilt both ways so you can cut angles, okay? If you flip this here, you can spin this to cut angles this way as well, okay? And there's a little red indicator on the side over here that shows you what angle you're cutting at. So this is a pretty safe tool. I haven't had any accidents on it, fortunately. But it does have some features that you need to be careful about in how you're using it. So first off, this is the cutting path, and you never want your hand in the cutting path, period. Okay? So when you're holding boards, if you're cutting with your right hand, you hold with your left. If you're going to cut with your left hand, you would hold with your right. But you never cut with your left hand and hold with your right. You can see where that could be a bad thing, right? So here's a story about a guy who's cutting wood. He was just cutting fire blocking, and so he had set up a stop so he could just slide his board over and cut it. And so he had all these 2x4s. He had to cut a bunch of fire blocking to go into a house that they're framing. And so he'd take his board, he'd cut it, slam it off, slide the board, cut it, right? And he just kept sliding and sliding. Well, he got to the very end of the board, slid it over, and before he could stop himself, he cut his arm off. Okay? He could see it. He knew he shouldn't do it, but his muscles were running in muscle memory because he was just going fast, and he couldn't stop himself, and he cut his arm off. So, if you put your arm or hand in the cutting path, it will disappear. It's a new kind of magic. It's gone. Okay? When you're cutting with the miter saw, you want to watch the blade. So on the table saw, we watch the fence because the blade stays in the same place, right? But in this case, the blade is what moves. Okay? And so you want to watch the blade so you know what it's hitting, and you make sure it's not hitting you. When you make a cut on a sliding miter saw, you want to pull the blade forward, then down, and then push it through your cut. If you just pull it into the cut, when the blade hits here, it acts like a car tire, and it takes off, and it starts to run at you, and it's a little scary, okay? So that can cause you to wet yourself. So you want to make sure you have it out, drop it in, and go back so that that doesn't happen to you, okay? So you're cutting against the rotation of the blade. You need to make sure that the wood is up against the fence. It doesn't have to necessarily have a straight edge on it, but if it doesn't have a straight edge, sometimes it'll pinch the blade, and that can be a problem. So you got to hold it as still as you can. But if it's not up against the fence and you get your fingers behind it, when the blade hits it, it will slam the board against the fence. And if your fingers are back there, it'll hurt. And you'll have to say, ouch, I hate that, because none of us swear. Because we're all really good at not swearing. So memorize that phrase, ouch, I hate that, and you'll be so much better off. Okay? I did that once. We were off subject, sorry, but we'll add it into this video because it's so much fun. I was building some drawers at a cabinet shop where I worked at, and I was shooting pin nails in, and the pin nail came out the side of the board and went through my finger, right? And the guy I was working with, cabinet guys, you know, they're kind of like sailors and others, they swear regularly, and I was trying to learn not to swear. And so it shot through my finger, and of course I snapped my hand back, pulled it out, and I said, ouch, I hate that. And the guy I was working with just died. He was just laughing, he couldn't believe it. Ouch, I hate that? And he added some other expletives, and he's like, all of those I understand. Ouch, I hate that. So ever since then, I've tried to say that when I smash myself or whatever, and it makes me feel better inside because I made that guy laugh with it. So, so you always want to make sure you're holding it against the fence so you don't get pinched. And then when you pull the saw down, you need to remember that it's a saw, not an axe. Okay? So don't slam it into the wood. I have a lot of students and then that's hard on the blade, and it's hard on the motor, and it's hard on your wood. Okay? When you're cutting, you bring it down slowly through the wood and move it slowly through to make the cut. So let the motor run so it doesn't bog your motor and all those things, and that'll make your saws last longer, and it'll be a lot safer when you make your cuts. Okay? So I haven't had any accidents on our miter saws here, but places I've worked, I've seen people have accidents. And so here's the most common accidents that happen with these. First off, this guard, it moves itself out of place. So you should never lift the guard to make cuts. But a lot of people are annoyed by guards. You can't see the blade, blah, blah, blah. And they whine about it. So in a lot of shops, you'll see them, and they'll wire the guard up like this so it's not in their way. That's really dangerous to do, but they'll do it. So this also has an automatic brake. So when you let go of this and you start it, it will start spinning away, when you let go, it has a brake that kicks in and stops the blade relatively quickly. Well, those brakes have a tendency to wear out. And so if you add wiring this up and a brake that's missing, when you turn it off, that blade will just keep spinning at a very high velocity. And so the shop where I worked at, sure enough, they wired it up and the brake was missing. And so a guy cut board, and then he reached in like this to grab his board, and it caught his finger, went right through, split his finger like a hot dog. Okay? It's just a dumb idea to reach into that area, but he did. So with the guard in place, it's probably okay to reach in here, but I don't like that habit. So I always try to just pull it from the side, push it out, and grab it outside of the blade path. So you try to keep your hands out of the cutting path as much as you can so that you'll be safe. Okay? Real easy. When you make a cut, you want to leave the blade down when you're done cutting before you pull it up. Because on the inside, this is kind of where the blade is, the teeth are out here. The teeth are wider than the center of the blade. And so after you've made your cut and you bring it up, the teeth will hit and often chip right here when you come up through, and you don't want that to happen. So you leave it down, let it stop, and then you pull it up. Okay? And that's how you make your cuts on a miter saw and keep everything safe on a miter saw. Any questions? The other thing you need to watch on a miter saw is to make sure that this back fence is out of your cutting path, particularly when you start to cut angles. So this can slide back and forth to give you different supports depending on what you're cutting. And so when you cut an angle on this, right, you've got to watch to make sure that hasn't been slid out and ends up into the cutting path on one side or the other. Okay? So these are supports out here on the outside. If you've got a long board that you're trying to cut, you can slide these supports out. There's a little stump under here that loosens it so you can slide it out. It doesn't go too much further out than that. But, and then this one, you loosen this, you can raise or lower this to make sure that you're staying even with the table. Okay? And that's important to get the support because you get a longer board and you cut it. When it cuts off, then all of a sudden it goes flying up, and that can cause you to jerk or something. And you can have other accidents with that. Okay? That's it.